It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
And it's your Real Estate Breakfast back again for the weekend. Where did the week go, eh? It just flew by. Breaking down for you the Australian property market over the next 2 days, over the next 7 days, as we certainly managed to get deeper into 2026. Maybe this year is the year that you've decided that you are going to build new. It is not always easy to do that. The numbers make it extremely tight. A Melbourne couple have secured a house for just 88 grand, choosing to do the whole relocation over a traditional build after the construction costs pushed their budget beyond reach. I mean, this is just one of the examples to make new buildings work. After buying, this couple, a 1,000 square metre block for just 65 grand, they pivoted to purchasing a relocatable home within their budget. While significant finishing work remains, they believe the strategy is going to save them around 40 grand and fast-track their path to home ownership. Hey, well done. It is Saturday morning, February the 14th. Now, this is interesting. Narellan is a well-established suburb in the southwestern Sydney area, about 60 k's in the Camden Council area. It's characterised by spacious blocks, a family-friendly feel, and a mix of established homes alongside modern residences. They've got a local population there now of around 3,300 people. Tends to be families and professionals with a median age in their mid-30s, and most households are living in detached houses rather than high-density units. Let's go to Chris Philp. He is the principal at Stone Real Estate there in Narellan. And a very good morning to you, Chris. Welcome into the Real Estate Breakfast this morning on our Saturday. Before I get to drilling down, talking more about your Narellan area, just want to come back to those new builds, because it is a bit of a factor that people are having to contend with these days, and you're probably seeing it in your local area.
Yeah, Craig, thanks for having me. Valentine's Day, actually, the 14th. How good. And interesting, that story about the couple. Certainly people are looking for options, thinking outside the box to be able to afford to get into the market or build. But we see a lot of people avoiding building at the moment and seeing much more value in established housing. But those that do build, and very close with a few that are at the moment, it can be very lengthy, process through councils, and obviously costs are very challenging as well. But look, at the end of that, you've got a brand new home, and people love selecting colours and putting their own touch on it. But yeah, certainly it's a challenge for people. And like the Melbourne couple, they're looking outside the box as to how they can afford to do something in the property market.
Let's just circle back. You're right, Valentine's Day. I hope you've got that covered, Chris. Have you organised something?
For all my agents, we've actually got a whole heap of chocolate love hearts. Every buyer receives a little love heart chocolate this morning. So hopefully that'll have us in the good books with all the buyers looking to purchase today. And certainly I'll be looking forward to seeing the smiles on their faces.
All right, nice to have that all squared away on our Saturday morning. Now, tell us a little bit more about Narellan. You've got a large regional shopping hub there with major retailers. You've got everything, really. Cafes, the medical centre, entertainment options. It's conveniently positioned, we should say that, near major roads like the Hume Highway and the M5 for Sydney access. Lots to do. It seems to be a place that has really sort of gained momentum post-COVID.
Yeah, you're right, Craig. And for those that don't know, we're sort of 50, 60 kilometres southwest of the Sydney CBD. So we can still access Sydney whenever we like, and but also in the Narellan area. And Narellan the suburb itself has been around for well over 150 years. There were some very early settlers in the Narellan area, and then it's really taken off over the last 50 or 60 years with the development you mentioned. We also have a growing area further south of Narellan in the Wollongong region as well, which is just absolutely exploding. And in regards to property prices and interest from buyers, buyers, because we are further south, as affordability tightens, so many buyers are coming from inner city areas, and they're looking at areas like Narellan and our surrounding suburbs and just seeing absolutely tremendous value. So yes, since COVID, but we're blessed out here, because even when markets do tighten, we're still seeing an influx of people actually moving south further to Narellan and beyond.
Yeah, great stuff. And you mentioned Wollondilly. I think I got that right. Tell us a little bit more about this. I presume because it's a little further out, it comes with bigger blocks, does it?
Yeah, it does. It does, Craig. So the Narellan region has seen tremendous growth, but even our local buyers now are starting to be priced out of here, particularly first home buyers. So what do? They sort of push further south again. So for any listeners that are interested in, whether you're local or whether you're, considering this as an investment area, a little bit further south of Narellan in the Wollondilly region. So that's suburbs such as Picton, Tarmor, Bargo, Thelmere and Wilton. And Wilton is a really high growth area, and the government has some significant infrastructure coming in. They are the next areas, in my opinion, that will really, really see benefit from population growth. We're already seeing it. But to give you some examples, Narellan and surrounding areas had growth of some upwards of 17% in the last 12 months. But then we go down to Wollondilly and it's not quite there yet. So there's 8 or 9% growth, which is still great. But I just think there's so much more a little bit further south of that Narellan area.
It's unfortunate because, as you say, people start to move out because it becomes unaffordable in Narellan and they're going into these other areas. Give us a sense just in terms of the rental market in that Wollondilly area.
Strong, probably like most, probably am speaking on behalf of most real estate operators with rent rolls. It's really challenging for tenants at the moment. So demand from tenants is quite significant. Although in terms of yields, we're not seeing that increase as much because there's still affordability pressures. So I would say, Craig, that 2 out of 3 applicants for our rentals, they actually don't meet the affordability criteria to be able to rent the house. So it shows that they want the house, they're out there applying, but us as the agent, we actually have to show a bit of a duty of care and ensure that they meet those criterias. To give you an idea what that looks like, you're probably trying to aim for anywhere between, say, 35% or so of rent to income ratio. And once you start getting outside of that, you're really putting people in a position where they can't pay their rent. So demand is great, but there's still affordability pressures.
We are talking to Chris. He is in Narellan, and we're going to break down coming up next what is that median house price looking like. And we'll also do the unit market as well after this.
Let's fuel your passion for property together. Join us, along with our industry experts, to help inspire and inform your next real estate decision. Get insider tips from industry professionals and level up your real estate game by unlocking the secrets of successful real estate transactions.
It is a Real Estate Saturday. Good luck if you are heading out the door this morning to have a look at some real estate. You've done the circle. It looks good on paper. It looks good in the photos. Does it match expectations? So there's always a big difference, isn't there? Once you're actually on the property walking around saying, well, actually, this doesn't look half as good as those photos. And those photos obviously had the beautification done. Now, we're talking to Chris, and he is in Narellan. Let's have a look at the median house price there, Chris. Where's that sitting at the moment?
Yeah, in Narellan, we're sitting just a tick above $1 million, which if you go back, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago and beyond, you would have never believed that. That would have sounded like a crazy figure for out here. I remember, selling properties when they got to 350, 400,000 for a 3-bedroom home. I thought that was crazy at the time, but we're certainly adjusting to $1 million being normal, even not in Sydney, but even as far south as we are in Narellan.
How long have you actually been there? It sounds like you're a local.
Yeah, yep. Born and raised in the area. I've been doing real estate here for around 17 years. So I have seen a bit of change in that time, and all for the good, though. It's a brilliant area to live.
Yes, over $1 million for Narellan. I hear you big time. People saying, gee, how did that happen? Let's have a look at the units. The units you were saying are not such a big thing there.
Not in Narellan itself. We do have some large unit markets within sort of 5 to 10 kilometres from Narellan, but Narellan only has essentially one unit complex. But what is interesting about that, Craig, is we're seeing really strong demand for those. So I know that I listened to one of your latest podcasts where unit prices, I think there was 19 suburbs with unit prices that with a downturn. I would say that we're definitely not within that 19. Our unit demand is great just because there's so few, and because we do have a bit of an aging population of residents in Narellan, they're looking to downsize and to live in those apartments. So we've seen some really strong. We actually just recently had a $1 million sale for a unit penthouse. So it shows that there's great demand for that.
You know, I guess that people have picked up on the fact that, yeah, it is a desirable location. I mentioned at the start the Hume Highway and the M5 for Sydney access. How much of a talking point does that come up when you're talking potentially to somebody that hasn't even been into the area? Then they find out that connectivity, which is such a big thing for an area like yours.
Yeah, it does come up, Craig. A lot of our buyers, they punch in the GPS to get to the area because they haven't been here before. But what they do find is, as you say, very easy access. We're actually really unique in that 70% of our buyers in the Narellan region come from out of area. They're not already living here. So that's actually the second highest in New South Wales, I believe. Someone might want to fact check that, but I think it's true based on data I looked at 6 months ago. So 70% of buyers are needing to learn the area. And when they come here, they realise that once you get here, you don't really need to leave. Residents here would only ever go into the city for a concert or a sporting event, or, maybe a work awards night, for example, which is why I go in there once a year. And then once you get down here, we've got very easy access to beaches in Wollongong, and we've got the Southern Highlands as well. That's not too far from us down in Bowral and those beautiful areas. So even though there's great access here, once they get here, they have a beautiful lifestyle. And obviously as well, another talking point is the fact that we've got the Greater Western Sydney International Airport being built, and I think that's due to kick off sometime this year, which is another reason why people are thinking there's going to be some significant growth here in years to come.
Plenty of connectivity. Chris has sort of succinctly told us all about Narellan and just the way that it has grown, especially over the last 5 to 10 years. Great to have you on the Real Estate Breakfast this morning. Go well with those chocolates on Valentine's Day. And thanks so much for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast.
Thanks very much, Craig. I'll probably sneak one or two myself. Sounds nice. Thanks, mate.
Each week, we bring you in-depth real estate discussions, including inspiring stories from homeowners, knowledgeable real estate professionals and economists. Whether you're a buyer, seller, or just a real estate enthusiast, we are your ultimate property podcast.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in the housing market. There always is, but we saw some strong growth last year. Through to the 12-month period, December 2025, we had 8.6% growth in the housing market. Now, that's inflationary on its own. We had first home buyers, we had investors coming in strong.
When an unexpected rate rise hits, the reaction isn't always immediate panic, but it does affect confidence. Borrowers start recalculating repayments, and some buyers hesitate while reassessing affordability.
Yeah, look, fundamentally, when we're in that period of lower lending rates, that increases borrowing capacity, which can contribute to growth. It also enables more investors to get in the market because the cost of their funding is lower. So it adds fuel to the housing demand. It may reduce some of the borrowing capacity for those trying to get in the market, which might ease some of the demand side pressures.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.